Oh, hello. You know what it is. The lads know. It's just banter. Episode 3. It's just banter. There's no need to start anything, because it's all just banter. I questioned making more of these videos because I knew they would get more confusing as I go along, but basically the first 2 episodes follow the first 2 chapters very nicely. When we reach episode 3, we continue through chapter 2, which ends just after their first kiss, and it is also the end of volume 1. But here we are. I received like a bit of support from the first 2 videos, which was just really nice, thank you. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it because I'm having an awful lot of fun, and even if I get confused, we can all be confused together. So yeah, let's get into episode 3. Our episode starts where we left in episode 2 with Nick and his tapping. This is a scene that gets a lot of chat. It is pretty much the same as the comic, but we don't get the 62%. I have been enjoying all the comparisons people are making to Isak in Scam. Spread the word of Scam. It's the best show ever. It's incredible. Everybody should watch it. It's my favourite. I love it. Also watch Druk. Really great too. Can't remember if Matteo does an Am I Gay test in Druk. I'm going to look that up because I don't remember. But anyway, it's great stuff. So this is a fantastic scene. I'm really glad it got the time it needed, and the placement in the show between these 2 episodes does make it feel like this very painfully drawn out process for Nick. In the comic we have these little pictures of the clocks to show the time passing and Nick getting increasingly upset. So it's very much the same. It's also great because it's very important to the character journey in a way that feels pretty relatable. Something that this really reminded me of was a video by Rowan Ellis where she asks people when they think historic events happened in queer history, and basically everybody sort of doesn't realise how recent all of these developments are. I mean, think about like the HIV/AIDS epidemic was only the 80s, like in the grand scheme of things, that's not that long ago. And when you look at events like this, or legislations that have been put in place, protests that have occurred, or things like the conversion therapy bans, they feel very recent or ongoing. That as a young person, discovering yourself within that world is very scary. I just want to say that I filmed this video, and about 20 minutes later, an interview with Kit and Joe came out where Joe makes this like exact point. I just thought that was interesting. Thought you might like to know, and also I know that that picture there is wonky. I haven't moved it yet. It's the acceptance that you belong to a group who often feel on the edge of having their rights taken away because they were only given them so recently. Obviously that's not the experience for everyone, and it is obviously more so an experience for other minority groups as well, but I see you, Nick, and I think a lot of people do. Sorry to open on such a low note. I think this scene is super important, and I'm going to mention Rowan Ellis again because in her video about Heartstopper she made some great points about this scene, so I think you should watch that. Anyway, it's time to get invited to a party. And to learn about Imogen's secret crush, which is in no way secret at all. Why it is described that way is beyond me. I guess they didn't want to do spoilers, but everybody and their goat knew about it, except maybe Nick. Boy feels clueless here. This scene obviously isn't in the comic at all. We actually only have the form room scene in the comic before the party, because if you've done your homework and remember from last time, this is where we had Tao telling Charlie that Nick likes Tara. Instead, as our little reminder, we have the scene in the changing room, which we love. I know I mention them every time, and I promise I'm not just overcompensating because I got one of the names wrong once, but I want my Sai, Otis, Christian moments. I'm very interested in their journey. As I've mentioned, I understand why they take a back seat in this season of the show, but I think the foundations have been laid really nicely for the following seasons for them to get up to the passenger seat. I think this scene is also really good for sort of like non-verbal communication and miscommunication between Charlie and Nick. Like, Nick is very clearly uncomfortable, and Charlie does see that, but he's also being led to believe that Nick likes Tara, not only by this group of people, but by Tao as well. So it's quite an interesting dynamic there, and like, their little looks to each other as sort of, oh, what's going on here? We're not communicating, are we? And they know. We then have a scene which is in the comic, the form room scene with Nick inviting Charlie to the party. The dialogue's a bit different. I think I prefer it in the show. It's a lot simpler and just like very lovely, and Nick saying, I want you to be there. I mean, do I dare repeat myself? He's already in love. Then obviously not in the comic, as I mentioned last time, there is no group chat action, but in the show we're slowly building this rift between Charlie and Tao, which can reach their fallout later. That doesn't happen in the comic. We only have like excited Charlie in the comic, but now we have him being all excited, contrasting to Tao being upset, Elle being understanding, and sort of struggling between the two of them, and Isaac being an icon, ignoring that group chat. I choose to believe this is iconic behaviour because it's something that I do a lot, but he does not have time for this. He's got reading to do. More non-comic content. We've got Charlie's dad. This poor man looks so worried all the fucking time. Like, look at his eyes. He lives in fear and I love him. He is wonderful. I like the small exchange between them as well. The 10 is late enough. I feel like we get a lot of reminders in the show that these are teenagers, these are young people living in the real world who can't just disappear. They have real world rules set by their guardians, which the majority of people as teenagers do have. But then I ask you again to look at this man's face. He cannot let Charlie stay out till 11 all Euphoria style. He'll have a heart attack from the worry. Then it's the same in the comic and the show, with Charlie going into the party to then find Nick, which honestly, like, well done, Charlie. I would have insisted I arrive with the person who invited me, or I'm not going, because that is terrifying. Congratulations to everyone who has the confidence to walk into a party on their own. Then when they find each other, it's the same as the comic. It's all just really nice. Like, look at their happy faces. It's just so lovely. We'll cut into a new edition. Yan is the most joyous ray of sunshine. I would like to pitch to whoever it may concern a spin-off show with the parents of Heartstopper. I don't need to explain. Look at her. I love her. She's the best. She's favourite character material. More stuff not from the comic. It's really nice to see Tao and Elle together, just the two of them, even if Tao is upset about it at first, because I love the way their relationship is developing and the way they bounce off each other. Will and Yaz are just a great duo, especially when Elle says it's not all times anymore. I love that bit. Definitely not enough randomly talking in a different voice every now and again happening in TV, because I do that all the time and I assume that other people do. So it definitely adds to the realism. Also, discussion point. Is Isaac really ill? Or was he just thinking of setting up Tao and Elle? I see you, matchmaker Isaac. I know your game. Heading back to the party and to a scene from the comic. I meant to look before I started filming, and I'll look afterwards and edit it here, but do we see Harry in the comic before this? I don't think we do, at least not properly, so like that's fun. This is his introduction with the, "Why are you hanging out here? Isn't it a bit boring, isn't it?" I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, Cormac. Like, I can't talk about Harry without trying to do an impression, I'm sorry. I can't. Little scene of Tao and Elle in between, very nice. And then, yeah, basically this is the same with Nick and Tara having a little chat. I like that in the show it is Nick who brings up Charlie in their conversation, whereas in the comic it's Tara who mentions that she heard they were hanging out a lot. Tara does well in both to establish this trust and support. Definitely the Tara-Nick friendship is a very underrated aspect of both the comic and the show, in my opinion. This is also our first comic look at Tara and Darcy. And I mean, I loved them instantly. I don't know about everybody else. I actually have a picture from when I first read Volume 1 of this panel, because I just knew that I loved them and I was like, I have to remember this moment. I don't know why. And yeah, it's a really nice start to a really like nice, comfortable friendship. Big fan. Then as well, we've got That's Homophobic Harry, which I don't know if it's labelled in the script as a Heartstopper moment, but it should be. It's beautiful stuff. Look at this guy's face. He is speechless. This is slightly different from the show, I think mostly because of the age rating for the show. Also, I think Nick in the show is somewhat closer friends with Harry than he is in the comic, like how the relationship is slightly different with him and Ben. So when in the comic he calls him self-obsessed and pathetic, show Nick doesn't go that far. I'm a huge fan of this in the show. I think the small changes work really well. Great moment. Iconic Heartstopper moment. Was that labelled like that in the script? Please tell me. More Tao and Elle. I like that Tao is recognising in himself that sort of the insecurity that he is feeling is from his side and is his issue to look into rather than projecting that onto his friends, if that makes sense. Obviously, I do think Charlie could potentially be different in the way he's communicating his feelings and things. It's a very classic like teenager thing of, oh, I've got a partner now, so I don't need my friends anymore, and friends feeling neglected, very standard. But I like that Tao in this scene is sort of recognising like, I am afraid of being alone. It is me, I am terrified of being alone. Not angry, but scared. I think it shows the level of care they all have for each other, which is a really nice aspect to the show, and that understanding when Elle says, are you jealous? I'm a really big fan of that. I think it's very funny, and also it's just sort of Elle recognising like, I see your insecurities, I get them, and I'm here for you anyway. Loving this slower building of the relationship and also platonic hand-holding at its best. Then our guy Charlie bumps into Ben. Can we take a moment for this comic panel? Like, I don't know what it is, but damn, that's a good one. I have just remembered that I forgot to do some string stuff, and now I'm like, I don't even remember what it was. I think what I meant to do was this. Timeline wise here, it gets a little bit tricky as this scene starts in the comic before Nick and Tara's conversation and then continues in a flashback when Nick finds Charlie. Instead, in the show, it's sort of intercut between Nick bumping into Imogen. So both Nick and Charlie are meeting their possible hindrances to the relationship in what my sister kept calling a classic TV misunderstanding. Between this and this and this. But actually there's just no misunderstanding. Imogen just says that she likes him and is thrilled with herself, so like, go for it, pal. I watched a great reaction video, I can't remember who it was, but I'll link it in the description, where they were saying that Imogen's friends are definitely lying to her and telling her that Nick likes her back, which I thought was really funny because like, it's so true. As far as I'm aware, they can all see, and they can all see that that boy is clearly not interested. Sometimes you're super obvious about who you like and it's really cringy and embarrassing, but at least your friends keep you grounded. But you know what, she's happy, so let her have this moment. So then the scene with Charlie and Ben is exactly the same dialogue with the higher age bracket language taken out to keep us in the PG zone. I like this scene. It's one I actually forgot was in the comic, and when I saw it the first time I was like, oh, this is like a new edition, but it's not, it's in the comic and it's the same. And I'm a big fan, I like it, it's good. Even bigger fan, however, of this next bit. I did question at first the decision to have Tara and Darcy not be out already in the show, but this scene definitely gave that choice a whole lot of meaning to me. It's definitely my favourite scene. Like, I often say other moments are my favourite because I think they're funny, but like, if we're being serious, this is definitely it. It's just a great visual representation of everything that Heartstopper as a show or as a comic is. It's a moment that is filled with both a joyful realisation and discovery, as well as these elements of the fantasy non-heteronormative world that we could live in. The rainbow animations behind Tara and Darcy as you see them close up in this like ultimate joyful moment. Very wholesome, very beautiful. I do love that obviously later there are moments where negative things are said about them being lesbians, but this moment is given purely to the joy of the experience in both a very public and a very private moment. The only person watching them in that moment is Nick. And what I also love is how this is a scene that holds so much weight for all three of them, bonding them in a way that Tara and Darcy don't even realise. To Nick, this is a moment where he sees the possibility of joy. It's the moment he's being told, you're going to be okay. This moment is his Heartstopper. Am I using that meme correctly? I don't know. And then he's all excited and he's looking for Charlie because he wants to feel that joy too, and he's being reassured that it is okay. You can disagree with my interpretation of this moment, but don't look at this boy's face and tell me that he is not thinking just all of that. So then he finds Charlie, and oh my god, his face when Charlie says he bumped into Ben. This is what my sister would call a classic TV misunderstanding, except it's not, because Charlie just immediately explains what happened, and then Nick is holding his hand and pulling him through these crowds at the party, exactly the same as in the comic. The two of them going through the party is just great. It's like, wow, like Nick got a ton of confidence today, because all of these people are seeing you running after each other and holding hands, and considering Harry has just been making fun of the fact Charlie might have a crush on him, Nick is just chilling. He is having a lovely time and I'm very happy for him. Again, all of this is the same as they're racing. Another of my favourite lines is "it's 'cause you're old." Bit of a school year age gap humour, big fan. And then they get to this room, which does actually look very different than it does in the comic, but then when I saw it in the show, something about the sort of perfection of its similarity just got me. I don't know. I was very emotional that day. The conversation that they have, again, is the same pretty much, and then they sit down and it's very much the same again. A bit shorter in the show. There's some explanations here in the comic which we've already had earlier in the show, so it would have been unnecessary. And then here they are. Is he just going to assume they're a she? No, Charlie, because they're not. Because they are you. This scene is done so perfectly. It is crafted in a way which just illustrates the care and love that went into this show and the appreciation for the comic that everyone involved had. All the lines are the same and we get the same shots, the close-ups and the animations, the flowers flying all over the show. It's just such a sweet moment filled with so much emotion. And while I do always laugh a bit at Joe Locke's delivery of
"Are they not a girl?"
the dialogue in this scene, again, just holds so much weight. I'm going to say Rowan Ellis yet again, I'm sorry. But this was another moment that she highlighted in her video and she just explained it much better than I ever could. You should definitely watch that. The reason why this dialogue is so impactful. Then once again, the same as the comic, they are interrupted, but I think in the comic it's by Cy shouting him, and in the show it's Harry. But I could be wrong, I'm not 100% sure. He leaves and then our poor little Charlie is just so sad, and it's really sad, like it hurts me to think about, especially in the comic. He just looks so sad. These panels at the end of volume 1 are just like painful. In the comic here we actually start chapter 3 while both Charlie and Nick are at home. We have flashbacks of what happens now in the show. Makes a lot more sense for this to just be linear in the show, definitely. Now this next scene I actually thought about so much that I ended up forgetting to print a picture off for it because it was just a mess. We get a scene that I have feared talking about because it has made life very difficult for me. And that is because I have not been able to stop saying, "The lads know it's banter." It's been a month. I can't stop. I try and do the voice, but I'm terrible at impressions, and I keep trying, but, you know, it's okay.
It's all just banter, isn't it?
This is different in the comic here because we don't see much of the conversation Nick has with his friends. We really just see him going back to find Charlie. So again, we get the impression that show Nick is closer to Harry than the comic Nick is, because they make up and are cool again. And of course, Charlie's poor little dad is back again. This guy, honestly, he breaks my heart. This guy's fears came true, and honestly, I worry about him every day. We do see this in the comic, but it's a bit different. In the show, he just cries, but in the comic, he sort of tries to cover it up and cries when he gets home. We now have sad Charlie in bed. As I said, this is when the flashbacks in the comic are, but we had them in chronological order. See, this is the kind of, can you even see that? This is the kind of vibe I wanted to go for, you know, like the I'm solving a murder kind of vibe. Anyway, interestingly though, no showing Nick looking sad at home like there is in the comic, but I suppose then it's more impactful for the show when he just turns up, which again, it's the same. He's brushing his teeth. It's probably the postman opened the door and Nick is stood in the rain. Exactly the same and perfect in every way. I'm gonna need a thesaurus for my next episode because I can't just keep describing things as perfect. Like, I'm meant to be an English student. I should know more words than this. But I mean, who are we kidding? This is perfect. And oh, what an ending. What an ending. Not gonna lie, I thought this might be where season 1 ended before the trailers were released, and I was terrified. Not in the mood for cliffhangers, I just wanted a happy ending. And I think had the show not given us the happy ending and had ended here, as I for some reason anticipated that it would, that wouldn't have been as successful as it has been. I think the happy ending has made this show so successful. So good move, Netflix, good move. Thank you again for watching and for the support that I received on my last 2 videos. Episode 2 will be linked in the end card, and you can subscribe for more episodes if that is something that you would like. Also, like, comment, let me know your opinions, or just say hi or whatever you want. I also have a playlist and videos linked in the description of all 3 of my videos so far of other Heartstopper content that you might like from various people, so definitely check that out if those things interest you. Once again, I hope that this makes sense. Or am I just wasting paper about things I could just say with words? But something about this is just... I love it. I just love it. I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and remember, it's always just banter. The lads know, you know, it's always just banter.